Hello everyone, my name is Katie and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I am reviewing the new album from Spiritbox titled Tsunami Sea. So I listened to this album right after its midnight release and I took notes song for song of all my first impressions, what I thought about each song. Really, I wanted to remember all my first impressions. I don't like recording that. I don't want to sit here and record an entire album listen, you know, but I do like keeping notes. That way I can talk about it here and remember everything that I thought. I've only heard all of these songs one time at the time of filming this video, and I pretty much just go through and I give each song a rating on my first impression, and then by the end of it I average it out and I give the album a full rating. Now this is just a first impression rating. Sometimes my opinions change over time and maybe later I'll come back and give an updated rating of this album, but this is just based off of the first listen, what I first felt. I know this album has been so anticipated. It has been for me too. I'm kind of like a newer Spiritbox fan. If you've been on my channel recently, you know I reacted to their single No Loss, No Love, and that song got me so hyped for this album. And I was a fan of Spiritbox a little bit before this, like some of their more popular singles, but this is the first time I've really been like, I want more Spiritbox, you know what I mean? So I have high hopes for this album, or I had high hopes for this album, and I can't wait to talk about all the opinions that I have on this release today. Alright, so let's talk about the first song, which is titled Fata Morgana. So this one started off super deep and heavy. I really liked that for an opening. I feel like it kind of set the tone for this entire album. Honestly, this song had like a very dark, eerie feeling to it, and I feel like a lot of the album did. One thing I learned about Spiritbox recently was that they're a little bit darker and more serious toned than I knew before. I thought before that they were just like this cool metalcore band, but listening to them more, I realized they're not like the other bands, you know. They got their own thing going on, and they definitely set the tone early in this track. One thing I noticed immediately in this song is a lot of string sweeps on the guitar, and I've noticed Spiritbox kind of has made this their signature sound. They do this constantly, but it's really cool, and I feel like you hear it and you think Spiritbox. So right off the bat in this one, you have some super harsh vocals in the first verse, and then the chorus is like this really eerie feeling. This album has very much siren vibes. I've said that a lot recently about a lot of different things. I don't know what it is, but that's kind of been the vibe with a lot of releases lately. And you know, with this album being like sea themed, it had a lot of that feeling, like this siren is trying to lure you to your death. Things felt a little bit off. I feel like they're trying to make things feel a little bit scary, and like the breakdown in this song had a little bit of an impending doom feeling. It's like doom metalcore. I don't really know how to label it, but this one, like I said, it really set the stage for the rest of the album, and I gave this one a rating of 7 out of 10 just because it was a great song, nice musically, had really like creepy lyrics and vibes. Like I said, it was a good song overall, but it didn't necessarily wow me. So for a starter song on an album, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. So the second track on the album is Black Rainbow, and I really liked the title of that one. I thought that was really cool, and that's just what Spiritbox feels like, a black rainbow. It just makes sense. This is another kind of heavy one, and I wrote down here that I really like that Spiritbox is heavier than other modern metalcore right now. I'm kind of sick of like the super clean pop music metalcore. Like, no offense if you like bands like that. Like, a good example recently is Architects. They just have not been doing it for me. Something about it is just way too clean. I like that Spiritbox feels a little bit grimier and dirtier, and this song definitely has that vibe to it. And it also has something I noticed Spiritbox does a lot, which is like a creepy tech sound. It's very tech, electronic. They mix that in with the metalcore sound, and something about it feels very off, like an evil robot trying to take over or something. I noticed in this one, and in pretty much all their stuff, the lyrics are very poetic and metaphorical. Some of my favorite lyrics from this track were dissolve, displace, rejoice, repeat. And like I said, I did write this down. Felt like AI was becoming conscious. It's like AI is becoming aware and trying to take over and unalive everyone. I don't even know if that was the goal for this song, but that's definitely the feeling that I got. I could see this in a sci-fi movie or something, like a sci-fi horror. This one was super heavy. I loved the moment where she said, "Your heart is a hole," you know, she's screaming it. I really liked this one more than the opening track. And it says here, very heavy, 7.5 out of 10, and I stand by that now. So next is Perfect Soul, and this was one of the singles for this album, and this is one of the songs that has become a regular listen for me. I love this song. It's so pretty. It's like an all clean vocals song, basically. I love when we get to hear more of Courtney's singing voice. Oh my god, it's so pretty. I love all the beautiful harmonies in this song. Gosh, the vocals are just so great. And then also I noticed the lyrics, once again, are very poetic and beautiful. And I wrote down here, who writes these? I'm assuming it's Courtney, but I'm sure other members might work on that too. I don't know who does all the writing for this band. If you know, let me know in the comments. But it's super just like poetic and pretty, and in a way it makes it a little bit harder to relate to sometimes, because sometimes they're a little bit harder to interpret and kind of dissect and put your own meaning to. It feels very personal sometimes to whoever's writing these lyrics, probably Courtney. It's very artistically done, and I feel like this is something you don't see as often in this genre of music, specifically modern metalcore. A lot of the bands are very direct with their lyrics, and they want it to be like super hardcore relatable, or they want you to know exactly what they're talking about. Spiritbox feels a little bit more serious and deeper, and like I said, more artistic, and they want you to kind of dig deep, and you could either put your own interpretation on their lyrics, or it's just more of like an art form. But anyways, there's a lot of that in this song, and like I said, the vocals are really the standout for me, and the music video has some great visuals as well. And one thing I think is this is a great song to get people into metal. If you have a friend that you want to start listening to metal but you want to warm them up a little bit, I feel like this song is perfect because it has a lot of metal vibes. You know, you have the metal instruments, and it's got like a heavier tone overall to it, but it's easily digestible in the way that it's really pretty, and there's not the screaming, and it's not so aggressive. So this is a good one to get people into metal. It's like the perfect song to show a new metalhead. And I rated this one an 8.5 out of 10, and I think I stand by that, just because it's not necessarily a wow sort of song, but it's very good. An 8.5 for me is very generous. I don't give a lot of songs or albums that rating, so that means I really like this song. I've been listening to it for a while, so last night wasn't my first impression, so I've been marinating on this rating a little bit longer. And it's funny, I was just talking about how sometimes it's hard to relate to some of the lyrics with Spiritbox, and then I go on and talk about this next track, which is Keep Sweet. And this was by far the most relatable song for me on the album. I don't even know if I'm interpreting the lyrics correctly, but what this song felt like to me was a song about the experience of being a woman, just in the world in general, but also in a male-dominated scene. Think about from Courtney's perspective of being in the metal scene. There's so much misogyny and sexism when it comes to being a woman in this industry or whatever. This is really the case with any male-dominated scene, but metal is like, it's hard. I can say from experience, people say some extremely harmful things to me sometimes, and this song for me personally, extremely relatable to me. Like one of the lyrics here was keep sweet to keep safe. She kept saying she keeps sweet to keep safe, and what this means to me is a lot of times as a girl or as a woman, you'll experience something harmful, whether it just be words or sometimes something even more aggressive like harassment or violence. And a lot of times you feel the need to stay nice and put on a smile and stay sweet to keep yourself safe, whether it be from harmful words someone might say. A lot of times if you stand up for yourself as a woman, you get this reputation of being difficult. That's always the word people say. You're difficult to work with, or you're a bitch and all this stuff if you just stand up for yourself and don't let people walk all over you. Sometimes this can even be more extreme, like sometimes someone might threaten violence upon you or some other form of assault or harassment, like SA for example, and you feel the need to like play along and act nice to keep yourself safe from not being killed or something of that nature. Pretty much you feel like you have to be nice to not start any trouble, and it always seems like the blame falls on the woman, and it's always our fault if something bad does happen to us or people do say bad things about us. And like I said, I don't even know if this is what this song meant, but to me that's what it feels like. It's pretty much a woman talking and singing and screaming about her experiences, and in a really deep way, to me, it felt relatable because it feels like the aftermath of being abused, or like I said, SA'd. It's like having your innocence taken away from you, or people treating you like an object. It actually made me cry on my first listen last night, and it was very emotional for me. And I'm glad that we have women in this scene that actually talk about these things. And I hope I'm not completely misinterpreting all of this. This is just how I took it. This is what's great about art and about music. We can all hear it the way we want. But this one just really hit me hard as I was reading the lyrics and listening. Felt super powerful, but also devastating. Feels like a song that's all about just being beaten down by all the things you've gone through. And it's not even necessarily a fighting song. It's just like an expression song. Like, this is the shit I've been through and I am distraught and I want to die sometimes with how bad this trauma is from what happened to me. And man, a song has not hit me this hard in a long time. I was sitting there like, let it out, girl. Yes, just let it out. Oh my god. It was really gorgeous and nice musically too. Don't get me wrong, I just focused so hard on the lyrics that all the other stuff is whatever. But honestly, the whole song was great even without all of the emotional aspect. And I gave it a 9 out of 10. Which, like I said, I don't do that often, so this one really meant a lot to me. And then we follow it up with the ultimate fuck you song, which is Soft Spine. Alright, this is just the hater song, okay? This was a single for this album, but I love that this one was so aggressive and heavy and in your face. And this song felt like a good follow-up to Keep Sweet, because it was like, fuck you for what you did to me. This is me fighting back. So if you feel like Keep Sweet is a song of defeat and sadness, following it up with a song like Soft Spine is so therapeutical. This one feels like taking your power back and calling out people who have done you wrong. Some people say this song might be about Ronnie Radke from Falling in Reverse. I don't even know if that's true, but it's just like the ultimate fuck you, fuck everyone who supports you. It said something about, I don't like the people who profit off of you or something. So it definitely sounds like some sort of beef between these bands, but it really just felt like taking your power back and finally taking a stand and not letting people walk all over you. The song is very, very heavy. It's one of the heaviest on the whole album, and gosh, Spiritbox does heavy really well. Courtney's harsh vocals are amazing, definitely better than her cleans. Her cleans are great, but man, she just has this power and almost this vulnerability and emotion in the way that she portrays her voice that just is like the icing on the cake of this honestly very well produced, very clean music. The reason I say clean question mark is it doesn't necessarily feel clean. It's very like grimy. It sounds really clear, like it's nice production, but they still have an overall tone and like a rawness that you could still appreciate. It's not as squeaky clean as a lot of metalcore. This song just felt so like chaotic. It had that wild guitar moment in the bridge, and oh my gosh, this one I rated a 9 out of 10 because this is probably one of my favorite ones on the album. I kind of noticed that they released all their best songs as singles, which I guess that's what you're supposed to do to get people to be excited about an album and buy it, but man, I feel like we got a little spoiled too early because, like I said, this was a single for this album and man, it's one of the best ones. So now we can talk about the title track of this album, and it's Tsunami Sea. So this one was like a little slow down moment. It's a lot more chill, especially after Soft Spine. It's like, okay, we're halfway through this album. Let's just chill a little bit. Let's get a little bit vulnerable again. Let's calm down. This one had some very pretty vocals with a lot of melody. It felt sort of like melancholic once again. I've noticed they just love doing that, but I eat it up. This song seems to be about the pressure that society puts on you to change and be the person they want to be and all these expectations people have. And this one can be relatable whether you're a rock star like someone in Spiritbox, or if you're just a normal person and you have these pressures from your friends and family, all these things that they want you to do and how much you don't want to disappoint people. I feel like this one can be relatable all across the board. One thing that is unfortunate about this song is it's not super exciting, honestly. It was a little bit boring. I put here, surprised this is the title track, just because it didn't really feel like a standout song at all. It was one of the more like tame ones on the album. Maybe it's just not my personal taste. But this one didn't really do a lot for me musically. Like I said, I do like the lyrics and the message of those, but I was just a little bored with this one. I wrote down here 7 out of 10. Hope the next song is more exciting. I guess I just got a little bit, my heart got racing with the Soft Spine and I wanted more. But sometimes it's good to have a little slow down like in the middle of the album. So maybe that was just me. The next song is A Haven with Two Faces. And this one had a really nice like clean guitar intro. And this one had so much metaphor about sea and ocean and waves and flowing and all these water metaphors. You know, I noticed that obviously a lot on this album. It is Tsunami Sea. So like that's kind of the theme. And I thought it was cool that through most of the songs they used those sorts of themes and metaphors in different ways to have different meanings and messages throughout the lyrics. That was still the overall theme of this album, and I noticed that a lot in this particular song. And I wrote down here that Courtney has a lot of passion in her screams. Like I said before, there's like a lot of feeling behind it. It's not just one-dimensional screaming. Like, not anyone, but a lot of people can learn how to do harsh vocals and it's just kind of flat. I don't really get that with her. I feel a lot more passion and emotion behind what she does. Sadly, I wrote down here, I'm bored. No, this always happens to me. Yes, it does. This always happens to me like halfway through an album. Towards the latter half of an album, I always get bored. I think I have a short attention span. I like the like 5 to 6 song EPs sometimes. I don't know what it is about me. Like longer albums, I always end up doing this. I don't even think it's a Spiritbox issue. I've done this a lot with releases recently, but this one just wasn't very exciting overall. There was one thing I noticed though towards the end of the song, like the very last vocal moment of the song, she fades from this clean vocal to a scream. It's like a smooth transition, and God, I wrote down here, I hope she does that live. I really want to hear that live. If she has done it, let me know. Oh my God, it was so cool. It was literally like just a regular clean vocal and like instantly transitioned into harsh. Like, I want to know if she actually did that or if that was just in editing. Either way, it was so cool. And I also wrote down their guitar tone. It's very signature. Like I said, those string sweeps, they do it all the time, but man, they definitely have their own signature vibe. And this one was rated 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to talk about my favorite song on the entire album. Yes, spoiler alert. We don't even have to talk about the other ones. It's No Loss, No Love. Oh my God, this song is so cool. It may be because I've been sitting on it longer. I heard it before the album came out, of course, so maybe that's why I like it so much. I don't know, but I've been listening to this song every single day. This is the one that got me excited for the album. And I wrote here, love how heavy and aggressive and to the point it is. And yes, oh my gosh, it's literally instantly right off the bat heavy. There's no like intro, no build up. It's just boom in your face, and that's the kind of stuff I like most of the time. The visuals for this music video are so cool. Once again, lots of water and waves, and oh my God, whoever has this artistic vision with the visuals of this band they're a genius. I don't know if it's a collective effort or what, but oh my God, they have the visuals down. This one had some really cool lyrics. I really like the lyrics of misery is a delicate lace, and the one line, oh my God, I love this line. The moment where she says, I was surrounded by pearls that I could not eat and diamonds that I could not drink. Art. Not just the words themselves, but also the delivery and the sound that we're hearing as she's saying that. It has that weird tech creepy vibe I was talking about, very electronic. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. They sound so unique. This band is just like not doing anything other people are doing. It's very different. The music video definitely has that eerie vibe that I was talking about. Like you have the visuals of Courtney and like the creepy eye contacts and the makeup and all that. It's like got this weird impending doom that this album just loves to throw on us, but I love it for some reason. This song has my favorite breakdown. It has a very kind of like hardcore breakdown. It has like a little bit of a groove to it. Definitely, in my opinion, the heaviest song on the album, and you guys know I love heavy, and I rated this one a 10 out of 10. Like, I don't think you could change anything about this song and make it better. The vibes on this song are different, unique, a breath of fresh air. Something about it just hits. It's not super long and drawn out. It's not trying too hard to be pretentious or serious. It's just like, it's got the right balance of everything. The right balance of artistic without being pretentious, like I said. It's got enough aggression and heaviness with little breaks, just a little bit here and there between verses. Man, they have figured out. This is a great song. So the next song is titled Crystal Roses, and this one was very different. I feel like this was very much a change of pace from the rest of the album entirely. You had this weird, like, once again, the tech vibe that I keep talking about, but this one had like that intentional auto-tune sound. Very different. I feel like we don't really hear stuff like that from Spiritbox ever. I really love how different this one was. Like I said, I was getting bored before with the other songs, and then No Loss, No Love kind of cured that, and then Crystal Roses definitely helped that. It just wasn't like anything I had heard on the album yet, so that was a bonus point. And the song had this like kind of floaty vibe to it, especially in the outro. It just was like kind of nice and relaxing and a little bit brighter. And I rated this one a 7.5 out of 10 and said nice change of pace, and I still agree with that. Next track is Ride the Wave. So yes, the intro had these really nice minor notes. It felt really creepy, like something bad was about to happen. I'm telling you, this band was like edging me the entire time, like in a bad way, edging me with anxiety. Okay, I felt like constantly something was gonna happen, this impending doom, and for some reason I was still lured in. Like I still wanted more very dark stuff, very siren-esque. I loved the guitar in this one, and it had a really cool breakdown. There was this moment where she's like, "Till I break," and then boom, big boom breakdown. I love the ones that start off like that. It was one of the best breakdowns on the album, very heavy. The lyrics in this one seemed a little bit personal in the way that, like I said before, I couldn't really relate or like decipher the meaning. I feel like sometimes the lyrics are just a little bit too metaphorical and hard to dig into. So this one I didn't really connect with at all, but it was a really cool sounding song. So 7 out of 10 for me. And the last song on the album is Deep End, and this was like a perfect album closing song. It had this sort of like anthem feel to it, this sort of bittersweet, like we made it through feeling. It was like we made it through, but there was some loss along the way. The no loss, no love kind of vibe. And apparently people are saying that this song was dedicated to their past band member that passed away recently named Bill. They were saying that this song was like dedicated to him, and it very much had that bittersweet moment. It was kind of like a nostalgic song, but also looking to the future song at the same time. It felt like something you would hear at the end of a movie after the heroes are, you know, they've gone through everything and they've made it through to the other side and now they're looking forward. That definitely had that vibe. I could hear this actually at the end of a movie. Someone needs to get on that. I wrote here, made me feel, underlined feel, because it really did. It felt emotional, lots of pretty harmonies. Like I said, felt nostalgic and bittersweet, and gosh, this was the perfect way to end this album. After all of the edging I was talking about of feeling scared, it's like, we got through the scary part, we got through the giant waves and through the tsunami, you know, we made it across and we're on shore now and everything's better. Like I said, there was some loss along the way, but here's to the future, and here's to loving life and loving each other and making it through next time another big wave comes. I don't care how cheesy that is. That's how I interpreted this song. It was very pretty. Loved that they closed it out this way, and I rated it an 8.5 out of 10. And man, what an awesome album. Like, this album really was great. It definitely reached my expectations. You know, modern metalcore and this sort of realm of metal, this whole subgenre is very iffy for me. Like, it's always hit or miss. A lot of times I don't like the newer bands and I'm very stuck in the past with the old metalcore, but Spiritbox just feels so different and unique, and I'm so glad that they're a standout. And I actually think this album has been their best release up to date, and I think this might be a big moment for them. I can hear some Grammys coming, and honestly, they deserve the world. They've worked so hard for so many years, and this is definitely their best album yet. This is like their masterpiece. I feel like it perfectly displays everything Spiritbox is all about. It has all the elements that make them so great. I could see this being like the metal album of the year, or maybe the metalcore album of the year. I know it's hard to compare it to other metal genres. It's very different. But for metalcore fans, I think this might be the biggest release of the year. Some final notes that I wrote down right after listening was, Spiritbox is pretty dark and melancholic, but also therapeutic. And I still feel that way now. It's like they make it feel like you can embrace the darkness in life and actually come out on the other side. Like, it's not always a bad thing to embrace it, feel it, talk it out, and then let it go. You know, like, they have a much more serious tone than I expected before I knew much about them, but something about it just felt like a release. I feel a lot better after listening to them. My only criticism on this entire album was once again about the lyrics. I said here that sometimes they are too metaphorical, which is hard to relate to at times, which, you know what, that just might be a me problem. Some people really like that. They had enough relatability on this album and ways that I can interpret things that this isn't really necessarily that negative of a point to make. So now I'm going to talk about like all my favorite songs and then my least favorite songs. So first we have most relatable song, which was Keep Sweet. As a woman, I'm so glad that song exists now. My favorite songs overall are No Loss, No Love, Perfect Soul, and Soft Spine, which is funny because those are the singles for this album. I feel like they probably shouldn't have released all their best songs as singles. They should have left like a couple ones that they knew were going to be bangers just on the album for us to listen to, because now like the surprise element is kind of taken away. But the rest of the album was still good, but They definitely gave us all the best ones before the album came out. The most unique song on this album was Crystal Roses, and my personal least favorite on this entire album was the title track, Tsunami Sea. I wrote down LOL, what? Question mark, because I can't believe that. I can't believe that I don't like the title track that much. It was just the most boring for me. Maybe I just didn't get it. I don't know. It was right in the middle of the album, so maybe... Sometimes I have a problem, like I said, with my attention span at that point. Maybe I was just bored. Maybe this one will grow on me. But overall, that one is just like the least memorable for me. And my overall album rating of Tsunami Sea is 8 out of 10. So you may have done the math in your head already. But yes, this album got an 8 out of 10, which is kind of rare for me. A lot of like my favorite bands that I am usually more passionate about haven't been getting 8 out of 10s for me recently with their new albums. Like a band that I'd never really listened to much until the last month or so has become an 8 out of 10 for me. That's crazy. That's actually really good. I don't give those out very often. Very impressive album. I think this is going to be huge for Spiritbox. I think they have a lot of good things coming. I think that they're going to get even more popular than they have been in the last couple years. And I think metalcore fans are gonna love this one. Alright, so enough yapping from me. Let me know in the comments what you think of this album. Tell me your absolute favorite songs. I want to know if people have similar opinions to mine or completely different. That's what's so fun about this channel. We can all discuss these things together and be passionate about it. And everyone's safe here. Please don't leave any hate in the comments if you don't like this album or don't like Spiritbox. Just try to keep everything civil. Even if you have negative opinions, don't be a bully about it, guys. Alright, let's keep the peace. But anyways, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!